What did you implement in your podcast to make it more repeatable that maybe the listener could learn from?
Sure. So as I was producing my very first episodes, and I launched on launch day, I published 5 episodes. That meant that before I began the week to week grind, I had 5 episodes under my belt. And so as I was creating those episodes, I would write down the steps that I was taking in a notebook. And as I was writing down the steps for each episode, I began to figure out what's the best order to do things in. What do I need to do first in order to open up the ability to do something further down in the process? And so once I had that process identified, written down, and it is a slow, painstaking exercise to create this, I put each of those steps into a project management tool called Trello. So my process for each podcast episode lives in Trello. I have a different process for interviews and a different process for solo shows because they have different components and different pieces that have to be put together. And so now every time I start a new episode, I'm not having to remember the steps. The steps don't live in my head, and I'm able to just go down the list, follow each step, and check them off. And now that I'm working with a marketing assistant in my business who is taking over a large chunk of those podcast production tasks, that transition to having her take on things like graphics creation, show notes creation, guest relations was seamless because of this thoughtful process that I had created before day one.